Welcome back to You've Been Mung-Guide. I'm Nick, and I'm the host. And that was dumb. Duh. Of course I am. Who else would you want to watch besides me? The best thing ever. Anyways, kidding aside. So I've always wanted to do this review for this dope-ass show I'm watching called Alter Carbon. It's a show on Netflix, and I'm going to try and do my first TV review. So wish me luck, and here I go. So there's this show called Alter Carbon. And basically the backstory is, in the show, these people go to Mars, they find this alien technology, they realize that you can upload your consciousness into these things, these stacks, and then they put it in the back of your neck. And then when you die, you can just be transferred into another body. And of course, rich people abuse it because they're the rich. Kidding, but of course that happens. And everybody else is just lucky to get whatever sleep they can afford. So, jumping into the plot, there's this guy named Talk. He's a kid, and he has a very abusive father, Talk. And he decides to kill his father. And then him and his sister get busted. So his sister gets sold into the Yakuza. Talk gets mandatory drafted into the Praetorian Guard, which is not a ripoff of Star Wars, but is these guards in the world of Alter Carbon that basically work for the UN because the whole world is run by the UN. Of course it is, because it's the future. You ever notice that in every futuristic TV show, the UN is in charge of the world? What's that one? The big one. The Expanse, it's the UN. Halo, it's the UN. There's a bunch of others, I'm sure, that I could name that are all run by the UN. Anyways, moving on, because if I just keep talking, we're never going to get anywhere. So he gets drafted into the UN military, and he has to, do missions for them. And then one of the missions, he runs into his sister. So they decide, no, we're going to fight against the UN. So he turns on his own unit, kills them, and his sister run. And they run and they meet this group of rebels run by this woman named Kelcrest Falconer. And it turns out that she was the scientist who came up with the stacks and is the cause of this whole world. And she's like tired of rich people living for hundreds of years. And so she's like, we're going to fight them. We're going to reduce everyone's lifespan back to 100 years. And of course, the rich people don't like that, and a civil war ensues. And so, one of the missions, though, Kovacs gets captured. The ship he's on, Kovacs almost gets captured. Him and his sister take off on a ship, and the ship explodes. So Kovacs thinks his sister's dead. And so he turns to a life of crime. He's captured by the Praetorians. He's put on ice. That's what they call it when you're captured and they remove your stack and your consciousness goes on ice. And then 300 years later, he's brought back. And it turns out he's brought back by a rich guy, of course, because somebody killed him and he can't figure out who killed him. So he brings Kovacs back, thinking he's going to solve the crime. And Kovacs is brought back it turns out when Kovacs' memory is downloaded, it's to a body in Alcatraz prison. And in this thing called Bay City, which is old San Francisco. Sorry, wrong town in California. I'm sorry, idiot. So San Francisco, and he's got to help this rich person figure out who killed him. And his wife is very slutty, and he ends up hooking up with her. And one of the things that kind of bothered me about season 1, I'm gonna take a break and explain that, is it felt a lot like an old, maybe 1950s or 60s detective story where Alcatraz exists, and there's that weird, I don't know what you call it. It's not jazz music, but it kind of sounds like it, that it's always in every like old cop movie and in every parody of a cop movie or something, like that Archer arc where they were in the 50s and Archer was a detective. It's like that. It's like, yeah, it seemed like in that kind of style. So anyways, Kovacs is investigating this rich guy's murder, and it turns out he runs into his sister. His sister was alive, and she betrayed Kel, and sold her and sold her out and exploded the ship, and she's alive. And she's the runs this giant criminal empire for pleasure. And she blackmails Kovacs into making up false allegations against a rich guy and basically selling out the wrong person and stuff. And she blasts and blackmailed. And that's all I'm going to tell you because I don't want to ruin the plot. I don't want to ruin too much of season 1, but it's on Netflix. It's a really good show. You guys should check it out. For the visually impaired people following me, it is audio descriptive. So for you guys and for me, that's a good thing because it helps a lot with TV shows if they're audio descriptive. So it is audio descriptive. And if I didn't say this at the beginning, comment down below. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button to keep on top of things that I do. And I hope you guys liked my first TV show review. I want to maybe keep doing these. Let me know if you want me to keep doing these or just stop now while I'm ahead. But let me know, and I'd love to continue them. And as always, it's been fun talking.